Did you know that you or your loved one could have a stroke and not even realize it? Mini strokes, or transient ischemic attack, often strike without warning. The symptoms can be so subtle, they're brushed off as fatigue, confusion, or just getting older. But here's the truth. Mini strokes are alarm bells from the brain, and ignoring them could lead to a devastating full-blown stroke within days. In fact, nearly 1 in 5 people who experience a TIA will suffer a major stroke within just 90 days. According to the American Stroke Association, over 240,000 TIAs happen every year in the U.S., and many go unrecognized or misdiagnosed, especially in older adults. So in today's video, we'll break down the 10 early warning signs of a mini stroke in seniors that everyone should know, because recognizing these signs just in time could literally save a life. Stay tuned. At the end of the video, we'll share simple lifestyle changes that can make a big difference in preventing mini strokes and keeping seniors healthy. Before we dive into the warning signs, let's take a quick look at what actually causes a stroke, because understanding this could help you spot the danger early. There are 2 main types of strokes, and knowing the difference could save a life. First, ischemic stroke, the blockage. This is by far the most common, making up nearly 90% of all strokes. It happens when a blood clot blocks a vessel that supplies blood to the brain. Think of it like a traffic jam in the brain's highway system. Oxygen can't get through, and brain cells start to die. Second, hemorrhagic stroke, the bleed. This type accounts for just over 10% of strokes, but is often more deadly. It's caused by a ruptured blood vessel, leading to bleeding in the brain. The pressure from this bleeding can crush healthy brain tissue and quickly become life-threatening. And then there's the mini stroke, or TIA, Transient Ischemic Attack. A TIA is like a preview of a full-blown stroke, but here's the catch. The blockage is temporary, usually lasting only a few minutes. Symptoms may vanish within an hour, often without permanent damage. But don't be fooled. A mini stroke is a medical emergency. Just because the symptoms go away doesn't mean the danger has passed. In fact, it's your brain sending a final warning. What's the difference between a mini stroke and a major stroke? Mini strokes are short-lived, with symptoms lasting under 5 minutes, sometimes up to an hour. Major strokes, on the other hand, can last over 24 hours, and often cause permanent disability. The scary part? At the moment it happens, you can't tell if it's mini or major. That's why every stroke-like symptom must be taken seriously. But here's something many people don't know. Silent strokes are also common, especially in seniors. These strokes don't cause obvious symptoms, so they often go undetected. How is that possible? Because the brain is remarkably adaptable. When one part is damaged, another may quietly take over its function, hiding the damage for a while. But over time, multiple silent strokes can add up, increasing the risk of memory loss, dementia, or a future major stroke. So if you or your loved one seems off, even just for a few minutes, don't ignore it. What looks like tiredness, confusion, or a momentary blank stare could be much more serious. In the next part of the video, we're going to walk you through 10 early warning signs of a mini stroke you need to watch for, especially in seniors. Stay with us. This next part is critical. Sign number 1, sudden numbness or weakness. One of the most common and alarming early signs of a mini stroke is sudden numbness or weakness, especially on one side of the body, like the face, arm, or leg. It is because a mini stroke briefly cuts off blood flow to a part of the brain, which means oxygen isn't reaching the cells that control movement and sensation. As a result, the affected area of the brain shuts down temporarily, leading to sudden numbness or weakness, usually on just one side of the body. It might feel like their arm just stopped working, or they suddenly can't smile properly. One side of the mouth may droop. This can come on without pain and disappear quickly, which is why it's often mistaken for fatigue or a pinched nerve. But if it happens out of nowhere, it's a red flag. Don't wait to see if it passes. Act fast and get help immediately. Even if they snap out of it after a few minutes, don't ignore it. Sign number 2. Sudden confusion. If you or your loved one suddenly seems disoriented, forgetful, or struggles to understand simple things, it could be more than just a senior moment. During a mini-stroke, certain parts of the brain responsible for processing and communication may lose blood flow, even for a few minutes. This can cause a sudden mental fog. What it might look like: they might stare blankly when you ask a question. They may mix up words or struggle to follow a conversation. Simple tasks like turning off the stove or using the phone might suddenly seem confusing. If this confusion comes on suddenly and doesn't make sense in the moment, treat it seriously. It could be a mini stroke in progress. Sign number 3. Sudden trouble seeing. Imagine your loved one suddenly says, "Everything just went blurry," or complains they can't see out of one eye. That's a big red flag. During a mini-stroke, reduced blood flow to the brain can affect the visual centers, causing blurred vision, double vision, or even temporary blindness in one or both eyes. And it can happen without pain, which is why many people dismiss it. If their vision suddenly changes, even for just a few minutes, don't assume it's eye strain. It could be a mini-stroke, and the clock is ticking. Sign number 4. Slurred speech. Sometimes the most telling sign of a mini-stroke isn't what you see, it's what you hear. When a stroke disrupts the brain's blood and oxygen supply, it can affect the neural signals that control the muscles used for speech, like the tongue, lips, and vocal cords. The result? Speech that suddenly becomes slurred, slow, or jumbled. You or your loved one might know exactly what you want to say, but your mouth just can't form the words properly. You may notice mumbled or garbled speech, sentences that don't make sense, trouble speaking clearly or finding the right words. This isn't just being tired or forgetful. If someone suddenly sounds confused or hard to understand, it could be a mini-stroke affecting the brain's communication center, and it's time to get help fast. Sign number 5. Sudden difficulty walking. If you or your loved one suddenly seems off balance, dizzy, or struggles to walk straight, it could be more than just being tired or lightheaded. A mini-stroke can briefly disrupt the parts of the brain that control coordination and balance, making even simple steps feel unstable. What you might notice: unsteady or stumbling walk, loss of coordination, bumping into walls or furniture, a sudden need to grab onto something for support. If they were fine moments ago and suddenly can't walk properly, don't chalk it up to age. It could be a mini-stroke in action. Sign number 6. Sudden severe headache. Not all headaches are harmless, and during a mini-stroke, an intense headache can be one of the earliest red flags. The difference? A stroke-related headache often strikes suddenly and severely, like a bolt of lightning, without the slow buildup you'd expect from a migraine. It can last for hours or even days, and may feel different than anything you've had before. If the pain is sharp, sudden, and unusual, don't ignore it. Unlike migraines, which usually start with throbbing pain and may come with visual auras or tingling, this headache often hits hard and fast, with no warning signs. If you or a loved one has a headache that feels off and lasts more than 4 hours, especially if it's accompanied by confusion, weakness, or vision problems, get medical help right away. It could be more than just a bad headache. It could be a mini-stroke in disguise. Sign number 7. Facial drooping. Try this quick test. Ask your loved one to smile. If one side of their face doesn't move, or their smile looks uneven, it could be a serious warning sign. Facial drooping happens when a mini-stroke affects the nerves that control facial muscles, usually on one side. The result? A drooping mouth, eyelid, or cheek that wasn't there moments ago. Other signs may include a flat expression on one side, difficulty blinking or closing the eye, a noticeable change in appearance, often mistaken for fatigue. If their smile suddenly changes or looks lopsided, don't brush it off. It's a classic sign of a mini-stroke, and time is critical. Sign number 8. Sudden trouble swallowing. It might seem minor at first, you choking on a sip of water or struggling to swallow food you usually handle just fine. But sudden difficulty swallowing, known as dysphagia, can be a silent but serious sign of a mini-stroke. A stroke can affect the part of the brain that controls the muscles in the throat and esophagus, making it hard to swallow safely and effectively. What you might notice: coughing or choking while eating or drinking, a feeling that food is stuck in the throat, drooling or trouble controlling saliva. This isn't just a moment of clumsiness. If someone suddenly struggles to swallow, especially with no history of it, get medical attention immediately. It could be their body's way of saying a stroke is underway. Sign number 9. Syncope or fainting. One moment your loved one is standing or sitting normally, the next they're on the floor. It's scary, sudden, and easy to dismiss as dehydration or exhaustion. But fainting, also known as syncope, can actually be a warning sign of a mini-stroke. When blood flow to the brain is briefly interrupted, it can cause a sudden loss of consciousness and muscle control, usually lasting less than 5 minutes. While they may wake up quickly and seem fine, it's not something to ignore, especially if it's followed by confusion, weakness, or vision changes. What to look for: a brief blackout or collapse, pale skin and slow response, disorientation after regaining consciousness. Even a single fainting spell can signal something serious. If it happens suddenly and without a clear cause, get them checked immediately. It could be a mini-stroke silently doing damage. Sign number 10. Hallucinations. Imagine you or your loved one start seeing things that aren't really there. Shadows in the room, people who aren't present, or hearing voices no one else hears. It may sound unusual, but hallucinations can be a rare but real sign of a mini-stroke, especially when parts of the brain involved in sight, sound, or memory are affected. These episodes are often brief, but they're a red flag, because mini-strokes can increase the risk of vascular dementia, which can affect how the brain processes reality. What to watch for: seeing people, lights, or objects that aren't there, hearing sounds with no source, talking to someone who isn't present. These moments of confusion are more than just imagination. They may be your brain's way of crying out for help. And while mini-stroke symptoms usually fade within minutes, the long-term risks are real. That's why prevention matters just as much as recognition. How to spot a mini-stroke and what to do. When it comes to mini-strokes, every second counts. That's why health experts recommend using the simple but powerful acronym FAST to quickly spot the warning signs and act fast. F. Face. Ask your loved one to smile. Does one side of their face look uneven or droop? That's a red flag. A. Arms. Have them lift both arms. If one arm drifts down or feels weak and hard to move, don't ignore it. S. Speech. Ask them to repeat a simple sentence. If their words are slurred, slow, or strange, it's a sign something's wrong. T. Time. If you notice any of these signs, don't wait. Call the emergency immediately. Getting help fast can save brain function and even lives. Did I have a mini-stroke? How to find out. Mini-strokes may only last a few minutes, but that doesn't mean they're harmless. Even if symptoms fade, it's crucial to seek medical attention. Doctors use advanced imaging tools like CT scans and MRIs to check your brain and carotid arteries for signs of damage or blockages. Know your risks. What raises the chance of mini-strokes? Some risk factors are out of your control, like age, but many are manageable. high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol levels, obesity, smoking, diabetes, and lack of physical activity. By understanding and addressing these risks, you can lower your chances of mini-strokes and protect your brain health. How to prevent mini-strokes. 3 lifestyle habits that make a big difference. Mini-strokes may be sudden, but they don't have to be inevitable. By making a few key changes, seniors can dramatically reduce their risk and protect their brain health for years to come. Let's break down 3 powerful habits that can help prevent a mini-stroke. 1. Eat for brain health. What you put on your plate plays a major role in stroke prevention. A diet high in processed foods, salt, and sugar increases blood pressure and cholesterol, 2 major stroke triggers. Instead, aim for leafy greens, berries, whole grains, and nuts, lean proteins like fish and legumes, heart-healthy fats like avocado and olive oil. Think of it as feeding your brain the fuel it needs to stay strong. 2. Move more, sit less. A sedentary lifestyle slows down circulation and contributes to obesity, high blood pressure, and diabetes, all of which increase stroke risk. Encourage at least 30 minutes of activity a day, even if it's just a brisk walk, light stretching, chair yoga, or water aerobics. Every bit of movement improves blood flow and keeps the heart and brain connected. 3. Manage stress before it manages you. Chronic stress is a silent contributor to strokes. It raises your blood pressure and inflammation, putting more strain on your arteries. Simple ways to lower stress: deep breathing or meditation, social connection with family and friends, gentle hobbies like gardening, reading, or music. Even a few minutes of calm each day can work wonders on your health. Mini-strokes are your brain's warning call, but by taking control of these lifestyle habits, you can reduce the risk, stay sharp, and help your loved ones thrive longer and healthier. If you made it this far, you're already taking the first step toward protecting yourself and your loved ones. Mini-strokes don't always leave obvious damage, but they do leave a warning. And now you know what signs to watch for and how to take action fast. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. It really helps us reach more people. Don't forget to subscribe for more health tips, especially for seniors and caregivers. And share this with someone you love. It could make all the difference in a moment that matters most. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay healthy and stay fast.